I know some of you have asked for my kombucha or how to make kombucha. And first of all, I want to thank Daniel Phoebens who introduced me to kombucha and gave me my first scoby. To start making kombucha, you will need a large jar. I like these sort of big open mouth jars. You don't need this part. Well, not at this point anyway. You'll also need a scoby, and you'll probably need about a cup of the scoby tea or some scoby that you used the last time. If you're not familiar with a scoby, and I know some of you find this a little gross, but it's really just a gelatinous, I don't know, piece of bacteria that you put in with the tea, and that's what when it ferments, that's what turns it into kombucha. So I've rinsed this off. I'm making a batch from what I had before. I took all of the kombucha that I just made out of the jar, washed everything, rinsed off the scobies, and I'm going to put this back in there. If you need a scoby, let me know because they keep growing and growing, and a lot of people just throw them out because, like, what can we do after that? You can see that I do have gloves on because I want to keep everything as clean as possible when I'm handling the kombucha or the scoby because I don't want to introduce any bad bacteria into my brew. So this is what you have to start with: a cup of the liquid or the scoby tea and the scoby. And I've already brewed 10 cups of water in this big pot with 8 tea bags. And most of you know that I really only use red rose tea because they have the least amount of pesticides according to several research projects they did from Marketplace. Most of the recipes say use black tea. At our local Sobeys, they only seem to have orange pico tea, and it seems to make it just fine. You can use other teas. It's up to you, of course. So after you've taken your 10 cups of water, brought it to a boil, then I put in the 8 tea bags and about a cup of sugar. You need sugar for everything to ferment and the scoby to work. After it's at room temperature, I will put it in the jar with the 1 cup of water and the scoby, and I leave it on the counter for about 10 days. And I put a little mark on it to say what day it is that it will be done. Apparently, depending on how warm your area is where you leave this, I have this on my kitchen counter, so it's fairly warm. When we did lose power, I just wrapped them all up in towels as much as I could to keep them warm, and they seem to be just fine. So I put the liquid that I just made in here with the scoby, and then I have to put tops on it because you don't want to take all the air out of it by sealing it this way. I use coffee filters, so you just put that on the top, and I have some elastic bands, and I usually do that 2 or 3 times because houseflies really like to get into your scoby. They love, or your kombucha. They just love it. I don't know why, but they seem to. After you've let that, I put it on the counter already. Hold on. After you've let that sit for 10 days, then I flavor it, and I like strawberry kombucha. Oh, I have this is what I just made. So it sat in this jar with the scoby for 10 days. And today in another clean jar, I put in some strawberries, a little bit more sugar so that it would work. And I'm going to leave that for about 2 days on the counter, again, with a coffee filter on top with an elastic, usually 2 or 3, just to make sure nothing gets in there. If you want to carbonate your kombucha, I've been doing that lately, and it turns out really well. If you have a jar with a screw top, here's my screw top. After this sits on the counter for a couple of days, flavored, and you can use any flavors you like. I just happen to like strawberries. You take all the strawberries or any of the flavorings you have. You can take them out, and I always strain it, put it in a jar with a screw top. And if you just set this on the counter for a few days, it will get carbonated. The secret is every day you have to burp it. So you just loosen up the screw and then tighten it up again. Or you may get a mess, which I had yesterday when I opened one, and it went all over the place because I didn't burp it enough, apparently. So after you have flavored it, you can put it in a screw top jar for a couple of days on the counter, then put it in the fridge, and then it stops working. And then you can enjoy it straight from the fridge. I like to have it in a wine glass every night before supper, and I really look forward to it, and I hope you enjoy it too. I hope I have all the steps now. And if you have any questions, please just let me know. Enjoy.